Turning to Bangladesh now, where major cuts to international aid are threatening the lives of thousands of Rohingya refugees. More than 1 million Rohingya are sheltering in Bangladesh after fleeing persecution in neighboring Myanmar. Many rely on the World Food Programme to survive. With a 40% slump in donations last year and no guaranteed future funding, the agency fears that it will be forced to slash its food rations. DW visited the Bangladeshi city of Cox's Bazar to meet families who rely on that food and who are now fearing for their futures.
It is lunchtime for Rafika's children. She gives them a fistful of puffed rice and a small packet of cookies. The family cannot afford to have a proper lunch. If aid is cut, their situation could worsen.
We are already suffering. Reducing the rations now will cause us more suffering in the future. My children and I are also sick now. We will have to survive in the future. We will not be able to eat fish, meat, or fruits. If the rations are cut in half, how will we survive in the future?
She and her family have lived in a two-room shelter in this camp in Bangladesh for over 8 years. Food vouchers help refugee families get eggs, chicken, rice, some vegetables, and other staples. But the World Food Programme warns it may have to slash aid, leaving Rafika's family with barely enough for the month. Rafika's husband Mohammed Alam says the family does not want to live on these handouts.
I had land in Arkan. I used to farm on the land. I also had a shop. I was always able to buy food from the market. I used to get rice and oil from the cultivated land. There was no shortage of fish and vegetables. We eat a small amount of dal for dinner. We eat them and drink water. We don't have money to buy food. We can't sell anything. We can't go outside to work. We're not allowed to.
The consequences have already been devastating. Thousands of children are suffering from malnutrition. Doctors at this children's clinic worry about what will happen when people have even less to eat.
They may suffer from the birth. They may be low birth weight baby. And during infancy, they will suffer from malnutrition and some other diseases. And they will develop with very low IQ and some nutritional disorder.
But it's not only health that is a concern. The local representative of the Rohingya people told DW that when a funding shortfall slashed the monthly food allowance in 2023, crime soared.
If the ration is reduced, crime will increase. Crimes like theft, robbery, drug dealing, heroin dealing. When food is cut, we cannot keep our children safe in their homes. The criminals kidnap and hold children captive, and they demand a ransom.
The World Food Programme says that funding remains insecure, and it is renewing its appeal to the donor community for support. Families like Rafika's, who remain entirely at the mercy of humanitarian aid, feel trapped.
We're very grateful that the government is keeping us well in the camp, but we don't want to stay here anymore. We don't want to go to other countries either. Let us be sent back to our country in a proper manner.
But with the conflict in neighboring Myanmar still ongoing, it's unlikely these Rohingya refugees will be able to leave Bangladesh soon.
I'd like to welcome Kun Lee, a spokesperson for the World Food Programme in Bangladesh, joining us today from the capital, Dhaka. So, in March already, you warned that the food rations for Rohingya might have to be halved if there is no new funding. Could you give us a sense, first of all, of what exactly that would mean for them?
Yes, if that happened, that will be truly, truly devastating and tragic for the more than 1 million Rohingya refugees. As you may have known, that this is a very, very vulnerable group. They have no legal status. They cannot move outside the camps. And they have no sustainable livelihoods to support themselves. So their basic survival is fully dependent on humanitarian assistance.
And just to give us a practical sense of what that looks like, what is it that they receive now? How much less would a typical person or family be getting if that halving of support were to come into effect?
Okay, so our full food ration, we call it rations, the full amount is $12 per person per month. If we had cut it by half, so that's $6. $6 per person per month. I mentioned to other people before, that's around 20 cents per day. So here in Dhaka, Bangladesh, 2 bananas cost that much. So for the Rohingya, what that means is they can only use that $6 allowance to buy a little bit of rice, little bit of oil, and some beans.
Thank you. That really does paint a picture of just how far that amount of money does not go. Now, I understand you did manage to avert major cuts for the month of April. From what you know right now, how is the rest of the year looking, and how worried are you that there won't be continued funding?
Okay, so we managed to avert ration cuts at all. So there will be no ration cuts. Starting April, our Rohingyas are receiving their normal full rations, which is now $12 per person per month. However, this is only temporary. Our available funding can only last us until at least the end of August. So what may happen after August, we still do not know. So we're still in the urgent need of mobilized funds.
It seems that foreign aid does not seem to be high on the agenda of many governments these days. We've seen funding for the WFP dropping significantly, even as the number of people who actually need that help continues to grow. How do you try to convince governments, aside from a very basic humanitarian argument, that it's important to prioritize these aid donations?
Okay, so it's really about life and death. Certainly for the 1 million Rohingya refugees, as I mentioned to you, they cannot work. They are not permitted to work, so how can they survive? And at this moment, the situation is already very dire. For children, the brunt of the harsh living conditions is taking a severe toll on them. Malnutrition rates has already gone up. Among children under 5, more than 15% of them are acutely malnourished. And among children under 2, that figure goes up to 20%. Also, there has also been concerns of security and protection issues. Violence against women and girls may rise when people become desperate because of hunger and malnutrition. And we may see parents pulling their children out of school so that they can support the family to get by. And we may even see early child marriage, girls' marriage increasing. So all those are severe consequences that we must face. And again, as at WP, we understand the challenges the global community is facing, but again, we call on them, our donors, and also the broader international community. Please do not forget the Rohingya, and please do not forget all the people who continue to suffer, including hunger. In today's age, hunger should not be accepted.
Thank you so much for joining us on DW with your insights today. We've been speaking with Kun Lee from the World Food Programme in Bangladesh.